Have you ever received a gift that made you feel uncomfortable, obligated, or somehow trapped, even though you knew you should feel grateful? That weird, sinking feeling you get when someone hands you something beautiful and your gut whispers that something is off, that instinct is worth listening to. Because not every gift is given out of love. Some gifts are given out of control. Today we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most sophisticated and underappreciated forms of emotional manipulation that exists in human relationships. We are talking about gifts that look generous on the surface but are actually designed to bind you, guilt you, or slowly erode your sense of independence. And the scariest part? The people giving these gifts often make you feel like you are the problem for noticing. Before we dive in, I want you to think about someone in your life who gives a lot. Maybe they are always showing up with something, always offering, always providing. Now ask yourself, how do you feel after receiving their gifts? Do you feel warm and appreciated, or do you feel like you owe them something? That distinction right there is everything. Let us start with what psychologists call reciprocity pressure. This is one of the most deeply wired social mechanisms in the human brain. When someone gives us something, we feel an almost biological need to give something back. Genuine gift givers understand this and they give freely, without expectation. But manipulative gift givers exploit this exact instinct. They give deliberately so that you feel indebted. The gift is not an act of love. It is the opening move in a transaction they never told you you were participating in. Think about how this plays out in real life. Someone buys you an expensive dinner you never asked for, and then weeks later, they are reminding you of how much they have done for you. A coworker brings you coffee every morning for a month, and then asks you for a favor that puts you in an awkward position. A romantic partner showers you with gifts early in the relationship, and then uses those gifts as leverage later when you try to set a boundary. The gift comes first, the cost comes later, and you never agreed to the terms. This is sometimes called love bombing, especially in romantic contexts. And it is one of the most disorienting experiences a person can go through because it feels amazing at first. Being showered with attention and generosity feels like being seen and valued. But what is actually happening is that someone is building a debt you do not know you have. They are investing in your compliance before they ever ask for it. Now here is where it gets psychologically fascinating. The manipulation works so well because it takes advantage of something real inside us. Gratitude is a healthy emotion. Wanting to reciprocate is a sign of a good person. So when someone weaponizes those qualities against you, you end up feeling confused rather than angry. You question yourself. You think maybe you are being ungrateful or paranoid. And that self-doubt is exactly what the manipulator is counting on. One of the clearest signs that a gift has strings attached is how the giver reacts when you try to decline it. A genuine gift giver will respect your no. They might be a little disappointed, sure, but they will not make you feel guilty for declining. A manipulative gift giver, on the other hand, will not take no for an answer. They will insist, they will push, they will use phrases like, "I just want to do something nice for you," or "you deserve this." Because the gift is not really for you, it is for them. Declining it disrupts their strategy. Pay close attention to conditional generosity as well. This is when someone gives, but only under certain circumstances or to certain people. You might notice that their gifts always come right after a conflict, functioning as a way to avoid accountability rather than genuinely repair the relationship. Or their generosity seems to increase whenever you start pulling away or asserting your needs. The gift becomes a tool to reel you back in, to reset the dynamic before you have a chance to process how you feel. Another pattern to watch for is public gifting combined with private expectations. This is when someone gives you something in front of others, making it difficult for you to decline without seeming rude or ungrateful. The social performance of the gift increases the pressure you feel to accept, and it creates witnesses to their so-called generosity. Later, in private, the ledger gets opened. They gave to you publicly, and now they collect privately, away from anyone who might see the transaction for what it really is. Family dynamics are a particularly fertile ground for this kind of manipulation because the power imbalances already exist, and guilt is often used as currency. A parent who pays for your education might hold that over you for decades, using financial generosity as a reason why their opinions about your career or relationships should carry more weight. Or a sibling who repeatedly helps you out during hard times might subtly remind you of those moments whenever you dare to disagree with them or prioritize your own life. The help was real, but the expectation that came with it was never disclosed. So how do you actually protect yourself? The first thing to do is trust your gut. That uncomfortable feeling you get after receiving certain gifts is data. You are not being ungrateful. You are picking up on a pattern. Take that feeling seriously and start paying attention to whether the giving in your relationship feels like it comes with invisible conditions. Second, notice the timing. Genuine generosity tends to show up somewhat randomly, driven by care and opportunity. Manipulative gifting tends to have suspicious timing. It shows up right after you assert yourself, right before a favor is needed, or right when you are starting to create some distance. When gifts correlate with moments of social or emotional leverage, that is a red flag. Third, practice accepting and refusing graciously without over-explaining yourself. You do not owe someone a detailed justification for declining a gift. A simple "thank you so much, but I cannot accept this" is complete. Watch how they respond to that. Their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about whether their generosity was genuine. Fourth, be mindful of accepting things from people who have already demonstrated manipulative behavior. Once you identify the pattern, be cautious about the next gift. You do not have to confront them dramatically. You can simply decline more often, keep your responses neutral, and avoid entering the cycle again. Now let us talk about something a little more uncomfortable. Sometimes we need to examine our own motivations when we give gifts. Are you giving because you genuinely want to, with no strings attached? Or are you giving because you want someone to feel obligated to you? Or because you want them to think better of you? Or because you are trying to avoid a difficult conversation? Manipulation is not always conscious. Sometimes people give with hidden expectations, even without fully realizing that is what they are doing. Understanding this in yourself is part of building genuine relationships. The healthiest relationships are built on clean giving and clean receiving. Clean giving means offering something with no expectation of return, and being completely okay if the person declines. Clean receiving means accepting something with gratitude and feeling no pressure to immediately reciprocate or perform appreciation beyond what you genuinely feel. That kind of exchange builds real trust. It builds connection that does not depend on debt or obligation. When you start recognizing manipulative gifting in your relationships, it can feel really disorienting because it changes how you see someone you may have trusted. But that clarity is a gift in itself. It allows you to make informed decisions about how much energy and trust you invest in certain relationships. And it helps you build boundaries that are not about keeping people out, but about keeping yourself safe and whole. You deserve relationships where generosity flows freely in both directions without scorecards, without guilt, and without conditions. Where someone gives you something because they thought of you, not because they are building leverage. That is the standard worth holding out for. And here is the final thought I want to leave you with. The antidote to manipulative gifting is not suspicion of all kindness. It is developing a strong enough sense of yourself that you can receive love openly while also recognizing when something does not feel right. That combination of openness and self-awareness is your real protection. If this video gave you a new way of looking at your relationships, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want to keep exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday social dynamics, hit subscribe because we are just getting started. See you in the next one.